Hello, and welcome to my channel. In this video, we're going to count down the 10 best movies you should watch in 2022. This year is shaping up to be a great year for movies, with some highly anticipated blockbusters scheduled for release. So sit back, relax, and get ready to add some of these amazing films to your must-watch list. Let's get started. Number 10. The Northmen. The Northmen is a bone-crunching Viking epic from detail-obsessed director Robert Eggers, based on the legend of Amleth, from which Shakespeare adapted Hamlet's story. It stars an extremely ripped Alexander Skarsgård as Amleth alongside Ethan Hawke, Nicole Kidman, Anya Taylor-Joy, Claes Bang, Willem Dafoe, and Björk. Eggers, who co-wrote the film with the Icelandic poet Sean, had historians of Icelandic and Viking history on speed dial throughout production, and the result is an extraordinarily detailed reproduction not just of the Vikings' world, but also their way of thinking. If you can extract a modern message from the Northmen, that toxic masculinity has been destroying men for literal eons, that women have been granted limited agency to push back, it's really not the point of this retelling a much retold tale. Eggers recreated, with obsessive accuracy, the world of the medievals in order to lower us into a myth that feels primordial and strange, as if it's tapping into something in the back of our minds that we've always known but have forgotten. Number 9. Everything Everywhere All at Once. Everything Everywhere All at Once functions as a pretty good summary of the film, which is a big-hearted, hilarious, boldly sentimental tale of a mother and a daughter just trying to love one another. Also, it's about the multiverse. Evelyn is stuck in her life, running a laundromat with a hapless husband and trying to reach out to her acerbic daughter, Joy. Plus, they're being audited by the IRS. But when she stumbles into a mind-boggling discovery that she must save all the universes from imminent destruction, things get weird. It's absurd and wild and wonderful, and will probably make you cry. Number 8. Benediction. Terence Davies' last film, A Quiet Passion, centered on the poet Emily Dickinson. In Benediction, Davies turns to a different poet, Siegfried Sassoon. Benediction, which means blessing, spends most of its time on Sassoon's passionate but thwarted relationships with several different men, after which he eventually married a woman. The whole story is framed by Sassoon's late-in-life conversion to Catholicism, amid his soured marriage and his son's derision. There is no happy-go-lucky ending here, only the sense that an ineffable longing we have to know and be known is so precious and rare that most of us never find its fulfillment here on earth. But the film's title lays bare its aims, to offer words of blessing over a man who never quite found the love he craved and yet kept looking. Number 7. The Batman. The Batman might be the moodiest and broodiest of the tales of the Caped Crusader. No small feat when you're competing with the Dark Knight series. But it's also one of the most innovative. This time, Batman returns to his roots as a detective, and director Matt Reeves places him in the middle of an old-fashioned noir, with the rain and shady lighting and twisty mystery that requires. The Batman is also a story about the morality and futility of revenge, and about a character who lives in a state of constant struggle between the two. The Batman is a slow burn, but its climax is a banger. Number 6. Downfall. The Case Against Boeing. Rory Kennedy's enraging documentary traces the events that led to 2 crashes of the Boeing 737 MAX planes and the deaths of hundreds of people. Boeing's slide from a well-respected company built on trust and attention to detail to one that hid the truth to satisfy the demands of profit is familiar, but terrifying nonetheless. And Downfall. The Case Against Boeing is an exceptionally strong exposé, one with a clear thesis, a powerful, direct argument to make, and implications that extend far beyond just Boeing. Before proceeding further, make sure to subscribe to this channel for more informative and amazing videos. Number 5. Friends and Strangers. Friends and Strangers feels a little bit like a throwback to the indie mumblecore movement of the aughts, but with a distinctive and slightly absurdist Australian twist. Alice finds herself on a perhaps ill-advised camping trip with Ray, with whom she doesn't really have any chemistry. Soon, out of nowhere, we're following Ray through some misadventures of his own. set in and around Sydney, but spotlighting the ways human relationships languidly unfold on the terrain. It's a little bit about the inherent silliness of what we call civilization, and also about how often we live our lives in a state of perpetual missed connections. Number 4. Crimes of the Future. Horror master David Cronenberg's latest, Crimes of the Future, is certainly one of the weirdest movies of the year so far. Starring Viggo Mortensen, Léa Seydoux, Kristen Stewart, and Scott Speedman, it's a tale set in a dystopian future, when pervasive microplastics in a world that leans on synthetic materials have prompted new directions in human evolution. With bodies evolving as yet unseen organs, surgery becomes a public performance art. Societal factions form around different ideas about where humanity should go. Somehow it's all wrapped up in an oddly sweet package, with human connection at its heart. Number 3. Navalny. Russian dissident Alexei Navalny, an outspoken critic of Russian President Vladimir Putin, survived an assassination attempt in August 2020. Putin is so threatened by Navalny that he refuses to speak his name in public. Daniel Rohrer's Navalny follows the opposition leader through the events following that poisoning, and in particular, the investigation that Navalny and his team at the Anti-Corruption Foundation launched into the attempt on his life. Much of the documentary is dedicated to observing and exploring that investigation, with Navalny speaking straight to the camera in interviews about his beliefs and work, including his controversial willingness to align with some far-right groups in opposing Putin's regime. And there's a scene involving a phone call that is worth the price of admission, making this thriller a must-see in our political moment. Number 2. Good Luck to You, Leo Grande. Emma Thompson and Daryl McCormack star in this two-hander, a heartfelt comedy about a 60-something widow who hires a sex worker to, well, she's not really sure what, but she knows she can't go on the way she's living. They meet in a hotel and slowly reveal themselves to one another, developing a friendship that has implications for them both. Directed by Sophie Hyde and written by Katie Brand, Good Luck to You, Leo Grande is a sexually frank and good-natured movie about trying to come to terms with yourself, your history, and your body, and Thompson and McCormack give subtle, generous performances. Number 1. Top Gun Maverick. In a film set 35 years after Top Gun, Tom Cruise returns as Pete Maverick Mitchell, no longer a bright young whippersnapper, but still the best flyboy around. He's called back to the elite Top Gun program to train a group of fresh-faced pilots for a daring mission. But while there, he has to confront both his past with Old Flame Penny and his own mortality. Top Gun Maverick is almost unprecedented in its class, a nostalgia sequel that doesn't feel like a cheap IP cash grab. Instead, it brings Maverick's story full circle in a satisfying manner that adds depth and dimension to its predecessor, but still tells a story that's all its own. That's all for today. Which one of these movies would you love to watch? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel for more informative and amazing videos.